How many percent do I have left? 9%. I'm almost home, but maybe I'll make this quick. And I probably did make this quick because fucking iMovie wants 5 zillion megabytes of data for 1 second of audio, because it would just wants to eat up everything, and then it wants to say, just because it can, it wants to take up as much space as it can. So iMovie can kiss my ass, and I'm speaking into existence. When I put this fucking file on my phone, you're gonna upload it. You're gonna say it's gonna take up less storage so I can put it on my fucking YouTube channel, because there's like 3 monologues that I can't put up. Okay, so I've been experiencing this a lot lately, where I start observing how energy works and how influenced I am by certain variables that all people really are influenced by. When you are competing with someone and you hate someone, you're putting yourself in a karmic cycle with them. And it's like, what was that saying from Batman, that you become whatever you're fighting against? Or like, if you fight against monsters, then you'll become the monster. It's literally true. Like, when I observe energy dynamics and I think someone just fucking bothers me and I start competing with them, or they start competing with me, they like become you. They like merge energy fields with you and vice versa. And it's like, in order to beat somebody that you're competing with, in order to outsmart them and like defeat them or whatever it is, you have to become them in some ways. You have to absorb their energy. You have to learn how they think, what they like, how it feels to be them. Like, you even viscerally start feeling like you are the people that you're competing with sometimes. And we can't escape our competitive nature. So it's like this kind of energy mixing and merging and Frankenstein, like literally we're like Frankensteins energetically. When we're competing with people, we're all different parts of different people that we're competing with. And what did he look like? He looked like shit. He looked close to death. He looked all fucked up. But we can't help but get sucked into drama with people or competitions, because that's literally how we survive. Think of like, by the time when you're a baby, I think this is why babies have role models, or infants and young people have a lot of role models and superheroes they look up to. When deep down they fucking hate them, because they feel like that idol that they have, that character that they love, that family member that they just want to be just like. I think deep down they hate them because of how vulnerable they feel to them. And like, if you look at kids and their favorite superheroes or their favorite family member isn't their dumbass, weak ass, weird uncle who isn't shit, who nobody, turn the fucking car, it's raining. Their favorite family member isn't the one who's a fucking loser. The family member that they want to be the most like, their idol, is usually the family member that they see as the strongest, they see as the most inspirational. If you ever see those sayings that say that hate is just a form of inspiration, it's kind of like they're two sides of the same coin. But at the same time, you feel the most vulnerable to the person that you see as the most powerful. You feel vulnerable to whatever idol you're looking up to, and you see them as having power, and you want to have power one day. So you want to emulate them, you want to learn their ways, blah blah blah, but deep down you fucking hate them, whether you admit it or not, and you're competing with them, and you would like to take them down one day. So it's like, when I observe energy dynamics, when we're competing with people, we get sucked into a karmic cycle with them. And in order to emulate them and surpass them and beat them at the game, the power game that's going on, where you feel like you're powerless to them, you have to kind of become them. And I think this is why when we are in deep competitions with people, sometimes the competition is so deep that you'll build your entire identity based on it. Like the way that people compete with their parents since they're born. I have 7%. You have to like become them in many ways. And I think when we start wielding in fucked up situations in our lives that we can't handle, it's because we're competing with someone. And in order to really become that person, you have to experience what they experienced in their life that even built them up to become who they were. So like, I nearly went to prison when I was 20 because I got robbed of my life savings, and the guy who robbed me went to prison, and I fucking hated him. I wanted that money back. So I didn't give a fuck what happened. I wanted that money back. So I think I started like energetically competing with him and merging with him. And next thing I know, the cops are at my door because I was dealing drugs. So I almost went to prison myself. It's just an example. Like, sometimes I notice, like in my family, people tend to die in similar ways as their parents did or who their most hated sibling was. Like, oh my God, it's even worse on my father's side of the family because they passed the name down generation to generation. So all these men have the same first name as each other and they fucking hate each other because it's like, the more dependent you are on your family, the more you hate them by default because they're threatening your survival because of how vulnerable and dependent you are on them. So every little fucking thing they do that is not right or that is hurting you is a threat to your survival, especially when you're a baby. But I was also thinking, I guess I'll make this quick. I was also thinking that since hating someone and competing with them and trying to dominate them and change them is a form of you becoming them and like taking their energy from them because you're merging with them. Like they're transferring themselves to you, kind of. I think in some ways when we hate people and we hate what they're doing, we hate that they have power over us, that they're hurting us, it's actually a form of empathy. Because I think of like when I was a child and the family members who I fucking hated, I hated them because they hurt me when they knew that they had power over me due to me being a child and then being an adult. Some of them who are the most miserable would choose to flaunt that power and do things like punish me excessively or threaten me or whatever shit they did. And I fucking hated them. And so I absorbed that energy and I know how to be a worse abuser than a lot of my family members because I learned, and I can still do this. I can still jump right back into the mix and hate people again and start competing again. But I want to be wise because a lot of the family members who I hate the most are now on the brink of death or they're getting older, and I don't want to merge with stroke victims or people who are at risk for heart attacks or smokers and shit like that. But it could be so easy to just hate them because there's a lot of reasons to. But I think hate is also a form of empathy. Like, I hate. If I don't take an overarching kind of perspective and just forgive humanity and just forgive our human nature, how we are so just the way we are, I can hate my aunt because she smokes. But if I hate her, I'm absorbing that energy. I'm absorbing that consequence, that I'm absorbing that shit that she is in onto myself. But I say hate is a form of empathy because it's like when you hate someone or you hate what they're doing, you want to take that away from them. You want to take their pain away from them. When you hate people who are mean, it's because you want to take that misery that they're in that's making them so mean and hateful. You want to take it away from them. Like you want to be a sponge for it and take it from them so they stop going through that. It's like when you want to take somebody out of the karmic cycle that they're in, that's making them be so self-destructive. It's like a form of caring about them, but it never seems to work because they did that for someone else and that person did that for someone else. Like if you imagine a kid hates its father because that father is an alcoholic and that kid just fucking hates their father for what alcoholism is doing to them. And then next thing you know, that kid becomes an alcoholic because they've absorbed so much of that father's energy, like they're a sponge, because they just want to clean and sober their father up. So they absorb all that shit and they become the alcoholic. And then someone hates them because they're an alcoholic. And so they absorb that energy. And then I think a lot of this just happens blindly a lot of the times. And I think this is how generational curses get perpetuated. Obviously, you're so vulnerable to your family. The blood connection of the family connection is so survival based. Of course you hate when your family members are doing fucked up shit that's destroying their health. And you can't help but hate them because you're impacted by it. And you care. And then next thing you know, you absorb their same problems. And just because of epigenetics and because it's like pre-wired into your DNA to be vulnerable to the same things as them, it's like a double hit and you hate them. So now you're becoming just like them. And this is I'm getting pissed off at my own self. And I was thinking the other day, if we want to reconnect with our own self, we have to find something about our authentic self that we hate. Like, you can do this yourself. You don't have to hate me. If you hit yourself in the face all of a sudden, wouldn't you kind of just hate yourself? Like, why did I just do that? If you broke your own nose, if you purposely tripped over your shoelace and fell down some stairs and fucking were bleeding, wouldn't you kind of hate yourself? Sometimes I think we have to have some kind of self-destructive habit or something about us that we hate about ourselves so we can compete with our own self and then be in a karmic cycle with our own self and not somebody else. So we're only wielding in consequences and karma that is tailored to us, not somebody else. Because like when you hate someone else and you start wielding in their energy, stuff that's meant for them, like karma that's meant for them, even if you were in the baby steps of emulating them, kind of like how it happens. I think this is why a lot of the times when we start getting hit with consequences for stuff that we were just starting out in, chances are you learned it from someone else. And this is why people go cold and then they ditch that friend group or they stop talking to that person or whatever before it's too late. But yeah, I was starting to think that if you can find a way, it sounds so weird, but if you can find a way to compete with your own self and to hate your own self, I would assume, just by the way things work, you would have like a dual relationship with yourself. You can hate yourself so much that you have empathy for yourself and you take the load off of yourself in some areas, and like you like work it's like you work within yourself. You don't have to have a second person outside of you to compete with and bump heads with and all kinds of shit. Damn, and now I think about this, I'm uploading this on YouTube where other people are going to hear it. So it's not just me talking to myself anymore. But I'm telling anyone who listens to this, you do not want to compete with me. You do not want to hate me. So like you can learn something from me or because I inspire you. My goal, I don't want people to become clones of me. I want people to hear me from their own personal perspective and translate what I say through their own unique perception and hear whatever they hear. Sometimes I don't even know if I want to come across a certain way to people because everyone's authentic perspective is so unique. I would hope people hear me the way that they just hear me, whether they misunderstand what I'm saying or not. I don't even know if I'm making sense to anyone. But what I'm saying is I don't want people out there to be competing with me or hating me because you do not want to wield in the type of shit that I've been through in my life onto you. And I wouldn't want anyone to do that either. It's like even when we envy someone, like someone can come on my channel and think, damn, she has so much music, I want to be like her. But you don't. And either way, when you make your music or whatever you're doing that I inspire you to do, it's not going to be exactly like mine. So you might as well just go all the way and just be yourself the entire time. Or only mimic people to a small extent. Because then the kinds of consequences that you wield into your lives based on the extent you are merging with someone will be very small. Like if you hate someone so fucking bad that you just ram into them and merge with them and become them, you'll wield in all the karma and all that whirlwind of shit that they had in their lives coming to them. Like you don't know what someone's like in the background. You don't know what their private world is like, what the consequences for private actions that they made is like. So I think a lot of the times when someone gets us all fucked up and we charge in, we hate them, we compete with them, and we want to get rid of them, all this shit, it's like forces that we don't see about people will start fucking us up. And it's like we also open ourselves up to be dealing with the same demons and the same entities and the same type of shit that person is dealing with. So yeah, this is why I say you're not me and I'm not you. And hopefully you never will be me and I never will be you. You hear whatever I say through your own ears, or if you use subtitles, through your own eyes, if you can read. And yeah, I even come across this shit because of having psychic abilities. It's nothing to be jealous of, I swear. One day in the shower, I swear, it's just like my intuition was always there in the background. Then it's like it clicked on one day and it became conscious. And then, yeah, but I swear you don't want to be jealous of it. I swear you don't want to hate it. But it's like at the same time, we're human and we can't help but be competitive because it's a way that we learn. We learn scaffolding. Like I don't know which psychologist it was. I have to wrap this up soon. I don't know which psychologist it was, but you can look it up. It's called scaffolding. It's how children learn. They learn by mimicry, mimicking a mentor, and then they learn a skill through that. But best believe that they're merging with that mentor to mimic and then learn and then solidify that long-term knowledge of how to do a certain skill. But while they're learning it, they're merged with the teacher. And there's a lot of teachers out there you do not want to be merged with, and you don't want to learn the skill that they have. But when we're competing with someone because they have power over us, because they're hurting us, because they're like competing with us, like trying to hurt us, it's like in order to win and fight off this predator or this enemy, you have to become them, kind of. It's different, but it's a form of scaffolding. It's what I've been thinking about today. I hope iMovie uploads this. And I swear, you don't want to compete with me about shit either, because if you saw how little storage I have on my phone, you wouldn't want to compete with me about making music. You wouldn't even have any storage on your phone. Oh my God, and this recording is called New Recording 666. I swear, I've been into Satanism before. Kids, you don't want to be me. Yep. Nighty night.